Pittsburgh Steeler fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Scho Bro Show. This is Steel Curtain Network. I'm stumbling over my words already. It's Steel Curtain Network's Dave Schofield coming at you Tuesday night, just after 9 p.m. Where else would you rather be? And with me, as always, except when he's not, is my big brother Rich, Big Bro Scho. How are you doing this evening?
Still not taking a deep breath.
Yeah.
Still trying to breathe a little bit, though, because, it's good for life.
Yeah, so, hey, I'm going to apologize. I was a little flustered. I was watching the Pens game where they lost in a shootout. So I'm coming down off of that a little bit, but had to get us going here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the topic of the show, and we're going to get to it, but we got some news to talk about. But first, I want to mention the topic. And now the topic is, was Sunday night really as bad as it felt? Because, bro, didn't it feel pretty bad?
Felt pretty bad.
Felt pretty bad. Felt pretty bad. Hey, I've got a question. I'm going to bring up something from there. This is Pickens, you big dummy. I know the real name behind that. I've got to ask. Hey, Pickens, you big dummy. Was that you that had your question answered on Asked and Answered by Bob Labriola today? Just wondering if that one was you. So let me know in the live chat. Just curious there. So we're going to say, it felt bad. It really did. Then you take it in. It's not all the emotion of it. When we're not just going to answer this question of was Sunday night really as bad as it felt, we're actually going to make the case for both answers of yes and no. So it's not like we're saying, oh, no, we're going to actually say this is we're going to make the argument is what we're really going to do more than anything. So before we do that, we've got some stuff to talk about. And that is that it's interesting because the Steelers reportedly signed a safety to their practice squad earlier in the day. And it was really interesting because I'm not calling him out because of his reaction or anything, because he said, oh, wait, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. I'm like, no, don't apologize. But when they signed a safety to the practice squad, Shannon's like, hey, does this mean they're just mail it in? They're not really interested in trading for anybody? And I said, this stuff just happened. It takes some time to have trades happen. You could be right, but maybe we should hold off of declaring a practice squad signing as something that really tells everything that's going on with the Steelers. And then what's crazy is the very same day, the Steelers do make a trade. In case you haven't heard, the Steelers have traded for a safety. They traded with the New England Patriots for Kyle Duggar, who they have kind of been shopping for a while because he just doesn't fit what Mike Vrabel's wanting to do on defense. He was a good player for the Belichick, Mayo defense, not so much with what they're trying to do now, but they had signed him to a big deal for how well he had played in the defense before. So the problem with moving him was a lot of it was his contract. So the Steelers traded for him. The reported compensation is the Steelers are sending a 6th-round pick to New England in return for Duggar and a 7th-round pick. So they don't lose any of their 12. It's just a pick swap. Rich, when you first heard about this, what was your knee-jerk reaction to the trade?
Who?
Huh?
Who?
Oh, you don't know Kyle Duggar?
No,
I don't. See, I'm familiar with the name because I knew it was floated around out there before. I'm trying to bring up some of his stats in that right now because I thought I had these up, but it was on my phone that I had them.
Sorry.
So
my biggest thing is I hope that when we go out, we make that trade is that we're not just fill in a spot. We're getting a guy that they have looked at his talent and his talent fits the Steelers scheme.
Yeah. Okay. He's under 30.
Although right now you could say, well, what is the Steelers scheme?
Yeah, that's true.
Because so you yards and points and
But he was a second round pick, 37th overall in the 2020 NFL draft. So it's not like there's not draft pedigree there. No, it's not like he's been in the Pro Bowl or anything like that. He actually was tied for the league lead in interceptions returned for touchdowns in the 2020 season because he had 2. He has 9 career interceptions with the Patriots. But here might be some of the bigger things. He is listed at 6'1", 216. So he's more of that role that you lost in Deshaun Elliott. Now, the question is, how long have the Steelers lost Deshaun Elliott? That was kind of up in the air with what Coach Tomlin was saying with everything on Tuesday. He was not confirming anything. He didn't even call anything torn. He called it a hyperextended knee. So some people were like, well, was he saying that the reports were false? I don't think Coach Tomlin was necessarily saying the reports were false. I'm thinking Coach Tomlin was saying he was not definitively saying anything more because they did not have confirmation on everything. So what is Deshaun Elliott going to be out? I mean, he called him week to week. He answered that question about Deshaun Elliott earlier today. We called him week to week, ruled him out for this week. It could be out for the season. They asked if he was going to go on IR. They said that discussion hasn't happened. I know reports are out there that said, hey, in order to make room, the Steelers are putting Deshaun Elliott on IR. That's actually a false report. What makes that false report is they don't have to make room. The Steelers only have 52 players on their roster. They haven't added another one since they put Miles Killebrew on IR. So now, does that mean that Deshaun Elliott isn't going on IR? No, I'm not. But they don't have to do it to make room for this trade,
right?
Because they actually already had a spot. So that's the thing. He is the more of the kind of player that could do the things Deshaun Elliott did. I'm not saying he's as good. I don't know about that myself. I will tell you, he had his best year, according to Pro Football Reference. His best year was in 2023. Wasn't that Belichick's last year there, where he had 2 interceptions in 2023, 3 in 2022, and 4 in 2021. Those were all 3 pretty solid years. We'll see how this ultimately ends up. For me, I know I'm doing an awful lot of the talking because you said you didn't really know anything about him. This is more about a move of that the Steelers weren't just going to sit back and be like, oh, well, I guess we're just going to have to go out there with whoever we got. Right?
Yeah.
So
it was not a surprising move, and it did not surprise me that not only did they make the trade, but they signed another safety onto the practice squad. It's hey, we might have to fit some different pieces together to get where we want to be if Elliott's going to be out any extended period of time. And they did that.
Yeah.
Boom. Done.
So Pickens, your big dummy, says, no, Dave, that was not him. I thought maybe it was because that's the thing. The names match. It wasn't Pickens, your big dummy. It was his actual name. I don't share people's real names unless they told me it's okay to share their real names with everything. So, but thanks for answering that there for me, Pickens, you big dummy. I just, like I said, I'm happy that they didn't just sit back and say, no, there's more to do out there. And I know a lot of people are saying they need another wide receiver. They need another wide receiver. Do they? I don't think that. I don't know. I mean, could they? They could use one. There's a difference between they could use one and they need one.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, they could use another wide receiver. Or you can say, oh, they need one. They're done if they don't. They're doing all right without another wide receiver. Between Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson coming on a little bit, we'll kind of see how that
and a gazillion tight ends
and a gazillion. That's what I was going to say more than anything is the
throwing the ball to Spencer Anderson.
Yeah, don't know that they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, that one's going to
For a
be
little
put on
bit.
hold for a little while.
Well, because that's the biggest thing. Because the other player is now he has not been ruled out. He is questionable. Okay, Ekawale, he's Coach Tomlin didn't deny anything there. That it seems like he's going to be done for the year. The one player that they said about the injury was Isaac Seamalu. And he's like, you know what? He's gonna be questionable. But remember, this guy doesn't need to practice very much. He's been around so long. We can wait till later in the week. So to me, that tells me right now, I'm already writing it in the article. Sam Malu didn't practice, isn't going to practice on Wednesday. He's not going to practice on Thursday. The question is, does he practice at all on Friday to play? So I think that's what's going on. I know some people were talking in the live chat, about what is it, Marquez Valdez or whatever it is, Valdez Scandling. I messed up his first name, whatever it is. And then of course, someone else who says I don't think he signed. The report is that he's not joining the team until next week, and it would be on the practice squad to start. What I think is interesting is, do you think he's waiting to see if they actually sign a bigger name wide receiver and then decide not to go to Pittsburgh?
Maybe.
It very well could be. So so there you go. So that was some news. Anything else from the news we want to talk about before we get into breaking down how bad it was on Sunday?
I'm good. Let's get it rolling.
Let's get it rolling. All right, Rich. Was Sunday night really as bad as it felt? First of all, we have to admit, it felt really bad. You were, should I read the text I got from you at the end of the game?
I don't care.
Because you let me know, because I'm the one who edits your knee-jerk reaction article and schedules it. And so you have to tell me when you're out of the article, because the way we have stuff now, two people can't be in it at one time. And you just said, I'm out. And that was pathetic. That was the text I get from Big Bro following the game. It felt bad. It did. So let's first talk about, was it as bad as it felt? I'll even let you go first. I know my number one reason of why it was as bad as it felt, but I'm going to let you go first so I don't take your answer.
All right, I'm going to go first. The second half was as bad as it felt, okay? Mm-hmm. And here's part of the reason why. The Green Bay Packers had 6 possessions in the first half, and the Green Bay Packers had 6 possessions in the second half.
Yep.
In the first half, the Green Bay Packers scored on 1 out of the 6 possessions.
Correct.
Now, some people could argue, yes, but on 2 of those, they missed field goals. Look, the one was
field goals.
The one was 53,
yeah.
Okay? And a visiting kicker coming into Acrisure Stadium is no guarantee from 50-plus. The only person that can knock him down 50-plus regularly on that field plays for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Okay?
So he came up short. That was the thing. It was online.
Yes.
Came up short.
Came up short. The other one he missed was 43 yards. Yeah, that one he just pulled. Okay.
Yeah, that one was 44. I'm looking at this. This is the official Steelers media website. That the second one he missed was 44, they say. And then the other one that he missed was, where did it go?
It was at the end of the half.
That was the second one I'm saying. That was the 44-yarder.
Oh, really? Then they've got them backwards on ESPN, because ESPN has them at 43 the first one and 53 the second one. I thought that was backwards as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
And it was, so hold on. Why can't I find it? I can't find it here. Where did it go? I'm trying to go by
You just can't see it. Like the officials couldn't see players jumping off sides.
That's it. So no, because it was the second play of the second quarter. That's why I missed it. And it was 57. Yeah. Is what they have here.
Okay.
So, yeah. Just trying to get our numbers straight.
Yep. But then the Steelers come out in the second half. And for Green Bay's possessions, touchdown, 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 field goal, field goal. Victory formation, basically.
Yeah. Oh no, they took one snap and they had to get one first down.
Yeah.
And then take victory formation.
Yes. And that's why I said pathetic, because the second half felt pathetic. Because the defense couldn't stop them from scoring points at all.
Yeah, the only stops, quote unquote, stops they had was when they stopped them already in field goal range.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't consider those stops.
I mean, I consider them stops if, well, honestly, one of them I would consider a stop. Okay? Because they got the ball at the Steelers' 26-yard line on the Steelers' fumble. And the Steelers did hold them. They were already in field goal range, and they did hold them to 3. That's like the only thing that you can call somewhat successful in the second half, is that they, at least when they got the ball with the 26, they didn't give up the touchdown. That's pretty much it. Yeah. The other field goal, my goodness, I mean, they moved it 47 yards to then take the field goal.
Well, I think I said this in my article, that in the second half, the Steelers' defense felt like a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
Couldn't hold anything.
Yeah.
Couldn't hold anything. So that was miserable. And almost as miserable was the offense in the second half.
Yeah, they weren't very good either. They weren't.
No.
Well, and that's something that Coach Tomlin talked about today, and because it's very true. They talked about the high red zone, which is basically whenever the next 20 yards, because it's when you get in field goal range. Because I'm sorry, when you get to the 40-yard line, you're basically in boss field goal range. Yep. Okay, so from the 40 to the 20, the Steelers could get that far, but they couldn't even get inside that zone and get to the red zone. They only made it to the red zone one time. That was the last drive right before the half, when they had the short pass to DK Metcalf. That's the only red zone trip they had the whole game. That's the problem with the offense. Now, I don't think the offense is the bigger problem anywhere close to it. But also got to talk about the bad.
There was also a lot of talk that that's how the Green Bay defense is.
Yeah.
In terms of of where they really start to tighten things up. And they really start to tighten things up in that second red zone.
Yes, in that high red zone.
Yeah.
So
but it was, the Steelers in the second half, 3 and out, fumble on the second play, garbage touchdown. There you go. There was the Steelers' possessions in the
No, they had a field goal.
Oh, that was the fourth quarter. Sorry, yeah.
Well, no, yeah, because they went, they went.
Sorry, went 3 and out, field goal.
Yep.
3 and out, 2-play fumble, garbage touchdown.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So basically, if I'm just looking at things in the first half, I was okay with the Steelers' play. It's like, okay, if we can keep on playing this way, we give ourselves a chance. Mm-hmm. But neither side of the football came out and played in the second half even close to what they played in the first half.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, trust me, I am not putting this loss on the offense at all. But I think this game, the game's a whole lot closer if the offense just does a little bit more. See, how much have we shifted? Think about this. How much is our mentality shifted? That when the Steelers, especially when a certain, first-round draft pick quarterback was trying to get going for them, and a second overall pick that was brought in as a free agent, and you're dealing with good things there. How many times did you even say, oh, if the defense could have done just a little bit more, they could have won? And the defense was doing almost everything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this feels like this time. You're like, if the offense could have had 2 of those field goals be touchdowns, 2 of those 4 field goals, because there was 4 field goals, right? Yeah, 4.
Yes.
2 of those 4 field goals as touchdowns. That's 8 more points. And then that 2-point, you know what I'm saying? That they still could have been right down last possession what's going on with everything. So I'm jumping the gun because that's why that can tell you was it as bad as it felt. Because I've got something about my number one reason of why it was as bad as it felt. And that is, to me,
I bet this is my other reason. Go ahead.
the poor defensive performance, particularly in the second half, but the really poor defensive performance counts double. And the reason it counts double is because I was willing to give them a pass the week before on the road on Thursday Night Football. But if you come out and do the same thing, then guess what?
You
counts
suck.
both of them.
Yeah.
2 is a pattern. It was bad. Now, I want to jump into why it wasn't as bad as you felt, because we can talk about that a little bit. But the Steelers' defense relies so much on winning the fluke. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
If there's going to be a fluke play when the Steelers' defense is on the field, they've got to be the winner of that fluke play. If they are the recipient of a fluke play, not only does that work against them a little bit, they fold. They fold. Cam Hayward calling out the stuff that he was after the game was right. You got to have fight. You've got to be resilient. You've got to, smile in the face of adversity or whatever it is that Coach Tom likes to say. If you give up a bad play, you've got to not let that define the game. You can't, you give up that. I'm going to specifically talk about that third down, quarterback gets hit, ball floats in the air, offensive pass interference doesn't get called, and it's a 60-yard gain. Okay. That happens to you. You can't let that define how that drive finishes. You've got to make that 3 and not 7. The fact that they even got down there and they didn't respond. The offense, what happened after that? You can't say exactly. How well did they respond after that terrible call that caused them to go 3 and out? Okay. They got a field goal.
Yep.
But then they went 2, 3 and outs after that. So they responded at least a little bit, but you got to come back and really have some fight after those kinds of things. So to me, I felt like the defense, you know what the word that comes to mind with them when it comes to those kind of things is for me right now?
What's that?
The word is indifferent. They kind of feel like indifferent. Once a play doesn't go their way, it doesn't seem like it really care. They really care if they end up giving up a touchdown after that, because that fluky play didn't go their way. So that's just the reason the team's going to score. How about dig your freaking heels in and not give up a touchdown?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah. So that's why, to me, it was really as bad as it felt, because the defense showing me that again was the double whammy.
Yeah, it was like, I don't expect to see the offense come out and fire on 8 cylinders every week, right?
Mm-hmm.
This game they were firing more like on 4 cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but for the past 2 weeks, the defense has been running on hamster wheel power.
Yeah. Now, you know what? What more do you want to say about where it's really as bad as it felt? Because to me, I feel like
it is as bad as it
I'm ready
felt.
to say a couple things. I'm not making excuses.
No.
I don't want to make it feel like, because it really was that bad. But at the same time, when you look at a couple different things and you're just like, whoa, yeah.
Well, let me say this. You asked me, yes, I stopped by and saw Dad tonight. Yes, we had some Steeler discussion, and we got into some good stuff. Okay?
Okay.
I hope Art Rooney was paying attention. Because I think, in my opinion, Steeler fans sent a very loud message on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And the loud message they sent was, I'm not coming to see the Steelers on a Sunday night. Not worth it. I'm selling my tickets. And there were probably as many Packer fans in the stadium as Steeler fans.
Hey, I know some people were saying, "Oh, how terrible that was" in the live chat after, in the post game show. I'm gonna say, I'm raising my hand. I did. I sold my tickets, and it's the only game I sold that I don't know who bought them.
Yeah,
I sold them on Ticketmaster, on Ticket Exchange. The only one. Okay. And it's very simple. This is what, and this, I think this is going to be a problem. I think this is going to be a problem that they don't, that especially if you're facing a good team. If it's a primetime game in Pittsburgh, there are a lot of season ticket holders like me that don't live in Pittsburgh and live far enough away that a primetime game just isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Just not worth it.
Just not necessarily worth it. And you sell your tickets. The fact that the Steelers were having to go silent count in their own stadium.
Yeah.
The fact that all I could hear was "Go Pack, go."
Yeah.
Constantly. The fact that in the second half, when the Packers would score a touchdown, the stadium would erupt. I forgot the game was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Okay? But I pinned some of that. You know, I get what you're saying with you and your tickets, Dave, but I pinned some of that on, I hope the ownership group takes note. Because I think part of what that is, Dave, is people are like, you know what? We're into this season and we're getting tired of all the talk, and we tried out the same mediocre team year after year.
Yeah.
Because that's what you are when you finish 9-8. You're mediocre. You're average.
Mm-hmm.
But if we keep, you keep trotting that out for so long, you can say all the right things, this and that, but eventually, the people see that the emperor has no clothes.
Yeah. And
I'm worried that that's the type of thing that you're going to start to see happen more and more. You're going to hear more visiting team fans in Acrisure Stadium than you've ever heard before.
Yeah. Well, here, let me ask you this. Let's say you're a Steelers fan who lives in, I don't know, New Jersey or even northeastern PA. If you had the option, would you go to a primetime game in Pittsburgh against the Packers, or would you go watch them play the Jets in New York?
Right.
There's a lot of Steelers showed up when they played the Jets in New York.
Yep.
A lot of them. Okay? Yeah. I think, and honestly, here's another thing. If you were a Steelers season ticket holder and you put in for the lottery to go to Ireland and you had to pay the money up front that would have been refundable if you weren't chosen to actually have the accommodations to go, do you know what I'm doing if I'm putting in for that? I'm looking at the most expensive game on the schedule, and I'm trying to sell those tickets to pay to go to Ireland.
Yeah.
And I instantly put the Packers game on Ticket Exchange because I knew both my brother-in-law, our brother-in-law and I, we were going to the game. I had someone ask me about the Dolphins ticket. I put the Dolphins tickets on a Ticket Exchange too, but then somebody asked me for them before they sold. I took them off and I sold them to a Steelers fan. Right. So that's, and the thing is, I sold my Packers tickets early. If I'd have held off, I probably would have got twice as much money for them.
Yeah, you probably would have.
Yeah. So I didn't sell mine at the last minute like other people because the prices were through the roof. I sold mine early because I knew I wasn't going to that game. So, yeah. So that's hopefully that does send a message a little bit there. But yeah, I don't, because my thing is I live close enough to Pittsburgh that it's a day trip, especially if it's a 1:00 game. Like this
when God intended football to be played.
Because we've got Nicholas Gabriel here saying $2 in the tip jar saying, going to the Colts game, pray for me, stop Taylor. Guess what, Nicholas? You're going to have company because who's going to be there? Big Bro's going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
You know who's going to be there? I'm going to be there. We're both going to be there. We said last week we're both going to be at this game.
Yeah, and I think it was Matt Cat or somebody said they were last week said they were going. So actually, you know what, Dave? So now that you bring that up, pick a time, pick a location. Let's have a meet up at the stadium for anybody that's going to be there.
All right. So let's see. The problem is, I'd say would be meet there because there's more room on the concourse where my section is. But you got to get up those escalators from the Great Hall to get there. And that could be a pain.
No.
But the Great Hall is so packed, meeting up there is going to be a pain. And I ain't going all the way up to the 500s.
No, it's not, Dave.
So I still think closer to my section would be the best.
We're meeting in the Great Hall. Pick a trophy.
Pick a trophy?
Pick a trophy.
Yeah. I think
I'm telling you right now, Dave.
There on time.
Pick a trophy. Which Super Bowl trophy?
Let's go my favorite. Let's go Super Bowl 40.
Okay. So we'll go. So let's say, I don't know. What do you want to say?
Or since it's here on the screen and I can say it, anybody, you could either, if you're going to the game, either hit me up on Twitter at STLRSuperFanDad or email me at STLRSuperFanDad@gmail.com. And we can let you know. Let's set a time, but this would just be in case. What time do you think we'll get there? We haven't talked about when we're meeting up to ride together. It really depends on how long it takes us to get across on the Clipper. Really? No,
it really depends if your wife is at a point where she gets ready in the car the time she's supposed to.
But no, that's what's so funny is that we have yet to have that conversation, and that's
whatever that conversation is. Would you please make the time a half an hour prior to what we determine?
No. I'm just saying you and I have to have that conversation of what time we're meeting to go up there. So what time do you want to say? Do you want to say you think we'll get there by 12:15?
Oh yeah,
12:15.
12:15 was going to be the time I said.
12:15.
If I have my way, we're going to be there long before that, Dave.
Yeah,
12:15
in front of the Super Bowl 40 trophy. The Scho Bros will be there.
Scho Bros there.
That's funny because outside Steeler fan says dang it, going to the Miami game. Yeah. So it's funny because someone says, what if Dave's wife watches this show? That's hilarious. That's a good one. She hears half of it. She hears about everything I say. I'm just checking to see if she's sitting at her desk right now. She was down here earlier. So she gets to hear my part of it. So,
that would be funny if Dave, my wife often listens to the show.
No.
Not live.
Yeah.
She catches it the next day sometimes.
I have 7 shows during the season. That's a lot to listen to. So, yeah.
Dave, I have a hard enough time listening to you for one show.
Yes, I know. That's part of the problem. You know what? We're going to go ahead and take our break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the few things where we say maybe it wasn't as bad as it felt. Then we'll get back into a little bit more of this game that we're going to. So if you're with us here live, we're not going anywhere. If you're with us here on the audio, we'll be right back after this break. All right, Rich, it's kind of hard to relax and not worry after dropping the last 2 games. But I will say this is one of the things of was it really as bad as it felt? Remember, this team is currently the number 1 seed in the NFC, who they just lost to. Now, they wouldn't have been if the Steelers would have beat them.
Correct.
But they are the number one because they beat the Steelers. They are now the number one seed in the NFC. We'll see how that continues to play out. I'm trying to remember a little bit. So I mean the Steelers. So they lost by 10 points. The Lions lost by 14. But that was also in Green Bay. But that's a whole different thing. So you can try to make yourself feel a little bit better about those kind of things that way. I mean, it's not like they lost to a crummy team like they did on Thursday Night Football.
Yes.
But still, if you want to say, was it really as bad as it felt? Because the other problem is, guess what? Now the Steelers are going to be facing the number one seed in the AFC. That's who they get in back-to-back weeks right around Halloween, which is exactly what happened with the Steelers, with both of these games being at home. Exact same thing happened to the Steelers back in 2004. But the Steelers won both of those games, and they were against undefeated teams. So are the Steelers as good as the 2004 Steelers? They aren't right now. But I mean, I don't expect their record to get to that. I mean, that team only lost one game. So they're obviously not that good. But honestly, the defense is not very good right now. The only question is, can it get better? One thing I do want to say from Coach Tomlin's press conference, because, man, I saw some crazy interactions with some of the Steelers media after this, was Coach Tomlin was asked if he was considering taking over the defensive play calling duties.
He already has them.
No, he doesn't. And that was the argument of all these moronic fans that are saying, but he already called. No, he doesn't call the defense. He doesn't. And this, and that's what the media's been saying. They're like, we've been trying to tell people to try to say, oh, he calls the defense. He doesn't. He does not call the defense. Now, then people in response to that, this is how ridiculous some Steelers fans are. But everybody has this. This is not true to just the Steelers, but still, I hope the Steelers will be better than all the other 31 teams. You expect stuff like this out of the jabronis in Cleveland. But they're like, then people had the nerve to turn around. Well, if he's not calling offense or defense, what is he doing? He must not be doing anything as a head coach. So you're mad if he calls the defense, and then you're mad if he doesn't call the defense.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. I've said it so many times. The head coach has his fingerprints on everything. But that doesn't mean that he micromanages and does other people's jobs for them. That's how it is everywhere. Now, some head coaches insist on calling the offensive or defensive plays. Not many of them, but some. And a lot of times, eventually what happens is they give up those responsibilities because they realize that it's not in the best interest of their team. Some people can actually pull it off. Like, is McVay one that does it all the time? Does he call
McVay calls offensive plays?
Yes.
Andy Reid.
Does he now? Because Andy Reid did, and then he didn't.
I think he's back to doing it.
Okay.
Yes.
Some of them are back and forth, and some of them, that's just really what they are. But so many people are like, well, it's Tomlin's. I mean, technically it should be Tomlin's offense too, because he's the head coach. Doesn't mean he's coordinating it, but it should be what the head coach wants. That's what being an NFL head coach is, people. They're like, oh, well, it's really Tomlin's defense. It should be. Now, it's not the exact same because you can see the differences between the Butler defense. And I know people are like, there was an interview where Keith Butler said Tomlin called all the plays.
I was going to say, pull that up from Big Bun because actually, Dave, that's what I was hearing being talked about today on, I still have such a hard time saying this because, to me, it's B94.
Yeah, it's always B94. Well, 93.7, whatever.
93.7, The Fan, this came up on there today, the Keith Butler and making that statement. And you have to wonder if there's not something to that, right?
Yeah. Maybe he called the plays with Keith Butler because Keith Butler kind of got overwhelmed. I think that's why he retired.
Maybe he called Dave. He may still be.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I can't prove it, but this is what came up when I was listening to some stuff on The Fan today.
I don't ever listen there.
Okay. Keith Butler makes these statements, right? Keith Butler retires.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you think that maybe didn't play a role in why there was not keeping Brian Flores around? You think there's the chance Brian Flores could have left because he felt that he wouldn't have get enough say in what the defense actually would be if he were to become the defensive coordinator?
He wasn't going to become the defensive coordinator because Art Rooney's not going to get rid of a guy that's under contract for another guy that's already on the team. Brian Flores knew it would take at least another season for him to be defensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. So when he got another defensive coordinator opportunity, he left, and he should have. He did the right thing.
That brings up the second thing Dad and I talked about tonight. Okay. And this is kind of how I put it. Art Rooney II needs to stop trying to be Dan Rooney.
Yeah.
Because he's not. Okay.
No.
This whole not getting rid of folks under contract and things like that was a Dan Rooney thing. Okay. And that was because of the relationships Dan Rooney forged with people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Art Rooney II does not, he may have relationships with people, but they're not the same. There was only one Dan Rooney. Okay? This whole thing about not getting rid of somebody whose job is awful because they're under contract still has got to end.
Yeah.
Has to end. It's the whole reason the Steelers are stuck in mediocrity.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is why these issues that we're talking about, we're supposed to be talking about better things now, but we've swapped into some more negative stuff.
Yeah.
I say it is franchise wide. It does not stop at the players. Yep. It does not stop at the coaches. It does not stop at the front office. It does not stop at the ownership.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's really a problem. I'm going to say, because I'm never allowed to say it officially, but unofficially, people like, the Matt Canada. Mike Tomlin never wanted Matt Canada as his offensive coordinator ever. That was an Art Rooney call. Mike Tomlin wanted someone else. Rooney wouldn't pay for him. And then Rooney did this and then wouldn't let him fire him for the longest time. And I would not be shocked. I don't know if Mike Tomlin wants to fire Terrell Austin or not, but chances are he's not going to be allowed to.
Right.
Even if he wanted to. So it doesn't matter. Here we go. This was from Tariq. Says, disagree, Dave. Sorry, I think you're nitpicking on the idea that we're saying he makes every play call. No, I'm not saying you guys are. I'm saying the people that were arguing with Alan Saunders and Nick Farabaugh and Chris Carter today online. Okay? So those are the people I'm talking about, not anyone here. Okay, but anyway, says, I don't think that is what most of us are saying. That is what the people that were saying that I'm bringing it up for. So it's that he forces his coaches to be conservative, which he very well might. But then Great One says, Tariq, I'm with you. Even if Tomlin doesn't call the plays, he probably has too much power with the defense. He's the freaking head coach. He's got all the power.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't have too much power as the head coach. You can't. No, you could micromanage and not delegate. That's wrong. But you have all the power. That's what being the head coach is. And if you don't understand that, you don't know what being a head coach is. Yeah. So, which is funny because, people pointed out, the media pointed out, Terrell Austin, he's the one holding the play card. He's the one calling stuff. Now, it's nothing for Coach Tomlin to say, that it's, let's say it's third long. He's like, hey, I want us in zone here. And then therefore, Terrell Austin has to call a play that call a defense that matches something that Coach Tomlin says he wants to see. Or Coach Tomlin might see, hey, I want you in zone. I want you to bring some pressure here. These are the kind of things head coaches do. He might tell Arthur Smith if he wants them to run the ball or pass the ball in a given situation. Arthur Smith isn't deciding if the Steelers are going for it on 4th and 1. Mike Tomlin is. Yeah. Then it's Arthur Smith's job to run the play. Tomlin could say, hey, we're going for it here. I want you to run it. Then he's got to call a run play. That's what a head coach does. That's his job. He's supposed to have his fingerprints all over everything. If the Steelers are not going to run a fake punt without Coach Tomlin saying, run a fake punt.
Correct.
Danny Smith isn't going to make that call on his own. It's the head coach. That's how it works.
Danny Smith might go to the head coach and say, "Hey, can we run a fake here?" And Coach Tomlin could be like, "No."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, Mark, this is exactly what we're not saying. Basically, Tomlin is not fine. That is the dumb. It's saying that he's actually responsible for all of it. If the offense sucks, he's part of that. If the defense sucks, he's part of that. If the special team sucks, he's part of that. Guess what? If the offense is doing good, Arthur Smith is not responsible for the defense being terrible. But there's not a single thing that Mike Tomlin isn't responsible for. Because he's the head coach. It's not saying that he's not at fault at all. He's involved with all of it. It's not all his everything, but he still has a say in all of it. I don't understand why I've had to say this so many times, specifically on the show. The people, I mean, I just get, maybe I'm frustrated because I've coached football before and have an understanding of how these kind of things work. And maybe other people just don't. Maybe it's just we can't see eye to eye because you don't have the same experience that I do. I don't know. And I'm not saying I have all this great experience. I'm just saying I've been on the sidelines and having to do this before, even if it's just high school level. So, I mean, I've run a scout offense for and stuff like that. That's been part of my role.
We've gotten off topic on this.
Yeah.
And you got me off topic. We had been talking. Okay, we had been
Sorry,
talking.
Mark, you just had to say with the Steelers when they never give time.
And there was something I wanted to bring up about what I see that for the Steelers from this past game that I really like or think is reason not to worry. Although there is a little bit of reason to worry in this. And the reason I'm going to worry in this is because Isaac Seumalo got hurt. Okay? Mm-hmm. The Steelers' offense have gotten to a point over the past couple of games, Dave, where I feel like they've been doing exactly what we've been wanting them to do. The Steelers have been going out in jumbo set. Okay? Mm-hmm. And just think about this. You're lining up then that you're going down. The left side of your line is going Frazier to Seumalo to Broderick Jones to Spencer Anderson to Mount Washington. Okay? Running jumbo package, and so that is your setup and what you're looking at. And the Steelers just look at the personnel on the other side. If you're going to come in, think you can stop us from running it, try to stop us from running it. If you're worried we might throw it, so you go a little, so you don't come in quite as, you cut, or you're worried we're going to run it, you come in heavier, then we're going to throw it. Mm-hmm. Okay? That makes me feel good that we've been seeing that. Now, I just hope that Isaac Seumalo gets right and we can get Spencer Anderson back out to jumbo tight end, because that's where the offense has been operating its best.
Yeah, and he's honestly the most athletic lineman that, could maybe Broderick Jones do that if he wasn't starting? Maybe, I don't know, but Spencer Anderson's been like the perfect guy because he can play anywhere across the line. You can tell he's versatile. He can get athletic, fits into that really well.
Athletic.
That's going to suck if they lose him because he's going to. That I think he could do a nice job at guard if Seumalo can't go.
Yeah. But it's a takeaway to put him in right now, to put him at left guard because of how good it's been running that jumbo package. And basically, in the first half, the Steelers were taking the ball and just, for the most part, crammed it down the throat of the Packers. There are things offensively I'm seeing that I like. Are there still some things they need to improve upon? Yes. Yeah. Okay. The pass blocking could be a little better at times.
Like useless knowledge says, Broderick Jones played good. Technically, Broderick Jones played well, but oh well. Well, but no, that's the way you say it in Pittsburgh. Broderick Jones played good.
But really, as long as we ignore that play where he took off the pull and was clear behind the guard and they didn't call false start. That's why I wasn't so surprised when they missed that offside call. I was they missed Broderick Jones taking 3 steps. You know
why?
Because of all the jumbo. That's why it confused the officials.
Was it Spencer Anderson that was next to him at the time? or was it Washington?
I think it was Washington.
I think they got confused and thought
I
it was
think
an
they did too.
eligible that
Yes.
was moving.
Yes, I agree.
He got a head now. Not as, I mean, that was you know how bad that was.
That was actually more blatant than the offsides.
I don't know if it's more blatant. I would have put it about the same, but it was so bad. It was worse than what the tackle was in the Bengals game all game.
Yeah,
it was worse than that. So yeah, some of that stuff was just bad. So no, both tackles played well. Both tackles played well in that game.
yes.
So,
well, I know why Fautanu played well in that game.
Because I know, were you wearing it?
Because I was wearing his jersey.
You were wearing his jersey during the game. You know what? I Steelers fans, I have a confession to make. Not since Rich brought that up. I'm really sorry that I blew it for you on Sunday night. This is how I've been working it. I have 2 jerseys that I wear at games, and I have 2 pants that I wear. I got 2 different pairs of Zubas. I've got the camo Zubas, and I've got the Tiger Zubas, which is funny because I don't wear pants otherwise. I always wear shorts. But for Steelers games, I wear pants because I have those. Anytime the Steelers lose, I change the combination. This year,
you didn't change the combination.
No, I did change the combination.
Okay.
But you know what I changed the combination to?
Oh, the one that you wore when they played the Seahawks.
No.
Okay.
Worse.
Uh-oh.
I changed it to the combination of the 2 things that I got on Christmas Day this past Christmas and wore that day in every game for the rest of the season.
Ooh, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what it was. I'm like, New Year, got to be ready for it. New Year, got to be ready for it. That was the TJ Watt jersey and the Tiger pants. That combination's retired. So, I think I'm going to, and that was so bad. I think I'm going completely opposite for this Sunday in stadium. I'm going to go to the combination that I wore, same combination I wore in stadium last year when the Steelers beat the Ravens. I will be back to the Cam Hayward color rush and the camo Zubas. So that's what I'm going to. Unfortunately, that was the combo against the Bengals, but maybe that one only really works in stadium. So yeah. No, this is true. Brian Brown says, it wasn't your outfit, Dave. Did you see what the team was wearing?
Yeah, was not a big fan.
No, me neither.
I hope they retire that one quickly.
Yes. I despise the brown pants. That's what I hated about the bumblebees. The jersey would have been better if they would have matched the front and the back.
Yeah.
Have the stripes go the whole way onto the back and do the white letters in the back. But they didn't do that. The one redeeming thing is I did think the yellow helmets weren't bad.
No, the yellow helmets were not bad.
I like the yellow helmets. But you got to find the right thing to wear with them. But yeah. So yeah, I'm still waiting for an alternate helmet with their color rush. That oh shoot, I'm not wearing that hat. Where it's black and the black helmet, don't take the stripe off of it. Do all black and do the hypocycloids just gold. If you want the stripe, you can do the stripe, but don't do the 3 gold hypocycloids, not the full Steelers emblem. I'm pointing to the wrong side. It's this side. So yeah. So anyway, let's get back to some stuff that maybe not been as bad as it felt. I wanted to bring up another thing. I know we're running really late, but that's good. And the live chat was already saying, sorry you got you riled up. Yeah, I shouldn't get that riled up about it. But yeah, it's just.
Dave, I've never seen you get riled up.
You've never seen me get riled up before.
Dave, I've seen you get riled up when somebody takes the last of the mashed potatoes. So.
No, of course. You know what? People can have the rest of the mashed potatoes if the gravy's already gone. Because if you don't have them both, it's not worth it. So, the run defense. They did a really nice job on Josh Jacobs.
Yes, they did.
Now, when they brought in the other guy, and I think I'd have to go back and watch it, and I don't want to go back and watch it, so I'm not going to. But if someone else would tell me, I would really like to know. it felt like when the other running back who ended up leading them in rushing, the Wilson, he had 61 yards on 11 rushes. He was running out of not obvious run formations. They were trying to get the Steelers in nickel and then run against them. And the Steelers weren't going to nickel with Jacobs out there. I might be wrong. I can't say this held true the whole game. I'd have to go back and specifically look for it. But it felt like when Jacobs was in the field, they were in base defense. It just felt that way. Maybe someone else who's broken it down, maybe if they're in the live chat, they can let me know if I'm off on that one or not.
Dave, how many yards did Wilson have?
Wilson?
Yeah.
He had 61 on 11 rushes.
Okay. Well, of those 61 yards, basically 20 of them came on the very last drive where they scored a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take that into account.
Yeah.
The Steelers had kind of laid down a little bit at that point. Not saying that was a good thing, but just it was what it was.
He had 49 of his yards in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And it was after the Packers already grabbed the lead because they grabbed the lead on the first play of the fourth quarter. Because for 3 straight games, there's been a touchdown on the first play of the fourth quarter. Two of them have gone against the Steelers. So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So it's, but yeah, I'm still with you. We saw an improvement in the run defense. Now we just need to, we need to see an entire game of run defense, pass defense. Honestly, in the first half, the pass defense wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But part of that was things went their way.
Correct.
Guys had balls that they could have caught, would have been difficult catches. There were guys right there, and they didn't come down with them on third downs.
Right.
Okay. Seriously, that fluke play to Tyler Kraft, where I'm sorry, he pushed off. I thought maybe he could get away with it because the ball was tipped. The ball was not tipped. The ball's tipped. You can smack each other around all you want.
Right.
But he shoved Elliott out of the way to grab the ball and take off running, and then Deshaun Elliott goes down. Nothing was the same after that. You can say it was because of the loss of Elliott. You could say it's because they didn't respond. I'm saying it's probably both.
Right.
Okay.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
From that moment on, that was it.
That wasn't, in my opinion, the only fluke pass, right?
Even the other long third down one that he seemed to air out for forever was weird. But what else was there?
It was the one that aired out and was caught. I don't think I ever went back and looked who it was for the Steelers that
stopped and jumped and went over his hand.
Yeah. Why did you stop?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that should have been a pick. That throw should have been picked off.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anywho.
Yep.
It wasn't.
So but you know what? Good teams make those kind of plays.
Yeah. Exactly.
And good teams respond when those plays happen against them and don't let that define the game for them.
Correct. That's why I say right now, Steelers, not a good team. We are the mediocre team that we have been the past several years.
And
now
that's
the
thing.
good news is there is still time to change that.
Yes.
Will they?
It doesn't get any easier because you went from the best team in the NFC to now the best team in the NFL record-wise. Top offense in the NFL. That's who they played this week. I mean, my goodness, when you look back at it, you thought that this game against the Colts was possibly going to be one of their easier ones. Daniel Jones, is he going to, or Richardson? You really worried about either of those guys? They are now. And they've really turned it around there in Indianapolis. And although there's a bunch of other things I could say about was it really as bad as it felt, to where I was said, no, it's not as bad as you felt. Really, it's only because you lost to a quality team. but you shouldn't have lost by that much. You should have scored. You had opportunities for touchdowns and you settled for field goals. And you had opportunities to stop the team for field goals and you gave up touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it still seems weird that the Steelers had a 5-point lead going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I know.
It felt like that game was so far out of hand. I mean, I keep seeing people in mind like, oh, they went from being up 9 to being down 10 by the start of the fourth. No, they were still – it took one play into the fourth quarter.
Right. But they entered the fourth quarter with the lead. Lost the lead on the first play. Never came close to it again.
And now that we're talking about the Colts – is it possible for the Steelers to make Steelers Nation feel better, yet still not win the game this Sunday? Or is it win or nothing?
No, I could feel good if the Steelers lose a game, lose a 17-16 game. Okay, but if we get the defense still giving up 25 plus, and the Steelers lose, I won't feel good.
Yeah.
For the Steelers to lose, they're going to have to lose a close game, and the Colts will have to be under 20 points.
Oh, to me, there's no way the Colts are scoring less than 30.
I don't.
Even if the defense has a big bounce back, that's still not. I still don't think it's going to be really tough to keep the Colts under 30. Just because of who they are. Unless it's a really – the only way it's not is if you're in what I would call a low possession game. Like both teams are possessing the ball for so long every time they have it that you're just not getting as many possessions.
Correct.
So my thing is I don't think the Steelers have the defense to shut down both the passing game and the running game. If they're going to shut down Jonathan Taylor, they're going to have to sell against the run, and they're just going to get torched in the secondary because they don't have the pieces in the secondary. Do the Steelers have the pieces that could bottle things up in the run? Yep. But do they have the pieces to bottle stuff up with the run and stop the pass? Nope. I don't think so. Not right now. Not right now. And also, even if the Steelers are doing good through 3 quarters of this game, you just feel like the defense is just going to get old and tired and slow and just.
Very well could.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but, we're going to the game, but I'm not going to this game with a lot of confidence of a victory.
No. I'm not going into this game with a lot of confidence. I am putting my wife's perfect record on the line against the best team in the NFL. She has never been to a game that the Steelers have lost. And it's not that she's only been to 1 or 2 games. She's been to 5. So that's the thing.
Well, if she keeps that streak alive, Dave, you're not allowed to sell any more tickets. She has to go to every game.
She has to get all of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Did I miss one? Here we go. I did miss one. I missed the one from Tyler W., didn't I?
Yes.
Tyler W., book it. Austin's days in Pittsburgh are numbered.
I don't think so.
Maybe to the end of maybe you're talking January, February. I would be shocked if they did it in season. I would see them taking away the defensive play calling duties first, but I'm not saying I wouldn't like to see it. I'm just talking about realistically what happens. Okay. Then we got another one. So thank you to Tyler. Thank you for the $1.99 tip jar. We got Steel Dog 88 $2 in the tip jar. Says, will we ever see Trice or Beanie again? Rich?
This season, doubt it.
I think there's a possibility you could see Trice coming back off IR, but I don't know that they would really work him much into the game plan. I think if he comes back, he would struggle to get a helmet unless there's an injury. I think Corey Trice is a guy they're sitting there that they're not even opening his window. but if somebody goes down, you will see him come back to practice and be ready to go that week. So I don't know. What I think is interesting is this when it comes to those. Beanie Bishop was replaced in this defense simply because he wasn't good enough. But are they really better? I will tell you, if Jalen Ramsey is the guy that's just replaced Beanie Bishop, that's still an upgrade. People might be upset with how Ramsey's playing all the time. He didn't have a bad game.
No, he did not
this week, in my opinion. But so yeah, he's an upgrade over Beanie Bishop. So, but did they really upgrade everywhere else? That's the problem. So we'll have to see. Rich, we've gone way over, so I think it's time to do the big question. Remember, don't put your answer out there, people, until I put it in the live chat and tell you to do it. And then we'll bring them all up. Rich, give me your score prediction. I already have mine for Thursday. I've just not allowed to say it yet. So if you steal my score, it's going to be funny.
I don't know, but I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Not thrilled with where the Steelers are at right now, playing the best team in the NFL currently, the highest scoring team in the NFL currently. I'm going to say Colts 34, Steelers 20.
Okay. So, yeah, that's why I said I don't see the Steelers keeping the Colts under 30 points. They doesn't mean that they couldn't, but I already put the scores out there. It's in the live chat. Therefore, who's talking about Darius Slay and Beanie Bishop, Big Pun? They don't even play the same position.
No, they don't.
Just because they have a CB next to him doesn't mean they play the same position. Slay is not a slot guy, and that's all Beanie can do. So no, please don't make that argument. It makes you foolish. It really does.
You're comparing, peaches and nectarines.
Yeah,
they're close, but they're not the same.
Yeah, that's like free safeties and strong safeties. That's like inside linebackers and outside linebackers. Okay.
All right, get the score.
Some guys can do both. Neither one of them can do what the other one does. All right, here we go. Matt Cat 49, 31-26 Colts. Okay. Matthew Bunk, 4-45. Wow. 45-17 Colts. Okay. Kathy Forrid, she's saying 28-26 Colts. Nice close game, but Steelers don't pull it out. Okay. Steel Dog 88 says Indy 34-28. BF Bud says 37-17 Colts. Brian Brown, he's still on it. He's like, you know what? I can believe in it. 36-35 Steelers. I think that's the kind of score it would have to be in order for the Steelers to win this game. That's just me. Okay. Outside Steeler fan says, good guys 40-37 because Boz kicks a 60-yarder to win it. Would be even crazier if that was 40-38 and he has to hit it to win or else they lose. Oh, that would be crazy. Yeah. Okay. Great one says 30-23 Colts. Steeler Chick 46 says 38 Indy, 24 to Steelers. How do I say this? Raziel, we'll say that. Raziel. 40-17 Colts. More than one person had that, right? Mark Tobin's got it 24-20 Steelers. He's guaranteed a victory. All right, Anthony Smith. Was he the one who guaranteed it against the Patriots? Never mind. Jamie Carlo says 30-20 Colts. Okay. Steelers Nation Australia says Colts 50, Steelers 0. Valley Ford says 31-30 Steelers. Boz for the win. Okay. Big Pun has Colts 42-24. So, and that's all I have right now. Yep. So, yeah, honestly, this is a tough part of the schedule for the Steelers. But it doesn't get all that much easier after this. I mean, you could look at records and say, oh, though the Ravens are 2-5, but they're a different kind of 2-5, kind of like when the Chiefs had a losing record. You got the Bengals, but we already saw what happened with the Steelers and the Bengals. I mean, you've got the Browns later on, but you got to go to Cleveland for that one where their defense is completely different. And they've got some other tough matchups like Buffalo, Detroit. These are teams that you thought might be the number one seed in each of their conferences now, but they're not. So I never would have thought that perhaps the roughest stretch of two game stretch that the Steelers were going to have was going to be Packers Colts. And that's the way it's looking at this moment. We'll see how that all plays out when you look back at it later. So, do we have any other scores there?
No.
Okay. So, with that, make sure you check out Steel Curd Network. I'm hoping we have a Steel City Insider. It ended up not happening last week because both Jim and Jeremy were sick. So that's what ended up happened there. Now that Marky D's back next week, he'll be back with a Good Day Steelers Nation. Been missing those, but as Marky D's been traveling ever since the Ireland game. See, that's the problem. It's Marky D's fault. Okay. Now, granted, they did beat the Browns, but Marky D, you got to be in Australia after making that Ireland trip in order for the good things to be going on there. So, but make sure you're checking out all our podcasts. Make sure you're checking out steelcurtnetwork.com. As we say, that site is growing. It is free. You can come and comment. It costs nothing. Just your time that you're going to spend there with some other Steelers fans. A lot of good people there on the site, just like a lot of good people here in our live chats. Some of them are the same people. So it's pretty good stuff there. Rich, we're going to be there.
Going to be there.
We're going to do all that we can. We're going to cheer them on, but there's only so much that we can do. I'm not feeling confident, but
I'm going to cheer.
Tell
but
me there's a chance.
I'm not going to be afraid to boo either.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll have to see how that goes. Rich, what do you have to say to close?
Hey, Dave, we're going to be in the stadium. We may even be doing some traveling together for that game.
Yep.
And I'm going to enjoy our time together, whether or not the Steelers win or not. I'm going to enjoy my time in the stadium, whether the Steelers win or not. Well, boy, I would feel a lot better if the Steelers could win. Mm-hmm. But I will leave us with this. 12:15. Anybody coming to the game, 12:15. Super Bowl 40 trophy. Meet up with the Scho Bros. Can't wait.
You gotta just chill out, man.
Can't wait.